This week's parsha is the most important parsha in the entire Torah. You may ask, why is this week's parsha the most important in the entire Torah? Well, let me tell you. Parsha Vayakhel moves from the abstract to the concrete, the description of the Mishkan to actually building it. We have a fundraising drive and the appointing of the craftsmen to oversee the work. We have the construction of the planks and the curtains, the ark, the altar, and the menorah. But none of that is why this is the most important parsha in the Torah. The reason this is the most important parsha is because it teaches us the secret to maintaining our relationship with Hashem. The parsha opens. Moshe called the whole community of the children of Israel to assemble, and he said to them. As far as opening lines to a parsha go, this one is pretty grandiose. We normally see things like, and Hashem spoke unto Moshe, or Moshe said unto the people. But here we have Moshe not only speaking, but he first calls out to the community. And not just the community, very explicitly the whole community. And not just calling out, but assembling the whole community. The text seems to be building up to something big. Once Moshe has the entire community assembled, he reveals what he wanted to say. 6 days work may be done, but on the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest, holy to Hashem. He tells the whole community that was assembled at the foot of Mount Sinai about Shabbat. Now, Shabbat is a big deal and certainly worthy of a little pomp, but we've got one small problem. This was not the first time we're told about Shabbat, nor is it the second, or the third, or even the fourth. This is the fifth time we've been told about Shabbat in the book of Shemot. Why all the build-up to tell us something we've already heard multiple times? What is it about Shabbat that made it necessary to teach right here in such a strong way? Let's take a step back and place the opening of this week's parsha in its overall context. The last two chapters were about the aftermath of the golden calf. So let's go back to just before that, just before the golden calf. Borrowing a favorite technique from Rabbi Ari Khan, let's imagine we have a split screen. One side of the screen is showing what's happening between Hashem and Moshe on top of Mount Sinai, and the other is showing what the people are doing below. Up top, we have Moshe learning Torah from Hashem. Down below, we have the people sinning with the golden calf. Hashem sees what the people are doing, gives Moshe the first set of tablets, and says, Moshe, you'd better get yourself down there. But Hashem didn't just notice the golden calf at the very last moment. Hashem was aware of what was going on below while teaching Moshe. So as the golden calf incident was reaching its crescendo, Hashem teaches one last thing to Moshe before sending him down to deal with the people. What was the last thing Hashem taught? Chapter 31, verse 16, a verse many of you are going to recognize. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat l'sot et hashabat l'doratam berit olam. As Hashem sees the people sinning with the golden calf, he teaches Moshe about Shabbat. Okay, so maybe that's why Moshe teaches the people about Shabbat at the opening of this week's parsha. The last thing he learned from Hashem was Shabbat, so the first chance Moshe gets to speak to the people en masse, he picks up right where Hashem left off. But the grandiose way the teaching is introduced at the start of the parsha suggests there's something more going on than Moshe simply following a syllabus. Back to our split screen. Why did Hashem choose to teach Moshe about Shabbat at the moment the people were sitting with the golden calf? I could think of some seemingly more relevant laws to be teaching at that point. Maybe the laws of sota, or the laws of divorce. What you do when someone severs their relationship with you. But no, Hashem teaches, V'shamru v'nei Yisrael. The children of Israel shall observe the Shabbat to make the Shabbat throughout their generations as an everlasting covenant. Between me and the children of Israel, it is forever a sign. Before sending Moshe to deal with the people, Hashem seems to be saying, you're about to see something terrible. You're going to think the people have destroyed their relationship with me. But remember, Shabbat is l'doratam berit olam, throughout the generations, an everlasting covenant. So after Moshe deals with the golden calf and finally has the opportunity to gather the people, what's the first thing he's going to actually teach them? You know how you repair your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? 6 days work may be done, but on the seventh day is a Shabbat of complete rest, holy to Hashem. The golden calf has severed your relationship with Hashem. Shabbat repairs it. You feel distant from Hashem, Shabbat can bring you close. Shabbat is the antidote for the sin of the golden calf. Shabbat is the covenant between Hashem and Israel. It is forever, which is why it needed to be taught or retaught to the community, the whole community, at that moment. When they were at their lowest, Moshe reminds them how to climb back up. In the famous words of Echad Ha'am, more than the Jews have kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jews. That is one reason why this is the most important parsha in the entire Torah. But the other reason is that the most important piece of Torah is whatever piece of Torah you have in front of you right now. Shabbat Shalom and Am Yisroel Chaim.